Cool. Hello, everyone. I'm Callum McGill. I'm a product manager here at Arpeggiator, and I work mostly on the software side, so on the V collection for this live stream, and I've been the lead product manager for the Augmented Series and the Prophet-V, which we split into two products, so Prophet-5 and the Prophet-VS. So yeah, this is going to be a pretty jam-packed live stream because we're going to have to go over all of them, which is really exciting. So, you know, I'm going to try and spend like 10-15 minutes on each product, telling you what I like, tell you some stories about them, show you some presets, show you some sounds, and then we can have like a Q&A at the end if you guys have anything else that I didn't cover or any open questions that you'd like to talk about. So yeah, let's crack on because we've got a lot to cover. So the first, well, maybe before going into the product, let's just quickly talk about the V collection. So the V collection is Arpeggiator's flagship software collection, and it covers analog synths, like the most iconic vintage ones and some obscure ones, digital synths, same iconic and obscure, pianos, organs, electric pianos, and now we've added this new series within the collection called the Augmented Series, which is like a half-sampled, half-synthesized hybrid instrument, adding, yeah, like a whole new sound palette, which is quite exciting, really, for the collection. So yeah, now let's jump into the Augmented Series, and the first one I want to show you is Augmented Voices. So in April, we gave away an intro version, which is free, and it was just the play page. So just the main central knob and the macros, and there wasn't any advanced features, no access to the engine. So now with V Collection, we have given out the full versions, so you can open the advanced section and really like dig deep into the engine, or just play it as almost like a sort of, not like a preset player, but go through the presets. You have your quick action controls, and quickly, inspirationally, and with fun, you can make sounds without even going into these advanced pages. So the second instrument we've done is Augmented Voices. Lots of male and female voice articulations like R, oo, or ms, both female and male. Loads new synth presets in there, and the whole sort of concept around the augmenting is like augmenting traditional instruments. So taking your traditional classical violin or the voice and trying to augment it and trying to push that sound into like a new territory, and kind of also like a go-to solution. So if you want voices, you can grab this product, use it, and you have like a sort of array of real sounds, synthetic sounds, mixed sounds, and the same with strings. So yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to cover to sort of give you the concept around the product and around the series. I also talk a lot about this in the previous live stream that I did for the augmented intro. So maybe it's good to show you some presets so you can hear Augmented Voices, and then I'll talk you through the features and talk you through the advanced page. So let's just play some sounds. So I kind of chose this preset because it was, I don't know, trying to show you that you have females on one side of the morph, males on the other side of the morph, and quite quickly you can go between the two sort of like libraries within the product. So I'll just quickly do a demonstration. Really nice. So now we're kind of entering the sort of hybrid sound. Nice. Nice preset. And then I kind of wanted to show you, I don't know, some more like sort of cinematic, because those were quite like ethereal, but you know, you can kind of go on the darker side of Augmented Voices. I'm just going to play some random keys. Nice, pretty powerful cinematic stuff there. Yeah, really nice. Okay, so showed you some presets. I guess let's just talk about the play page. So as I said before, you know, I want people to get on this product, choose your sound, find a nice sound, tweak the morph, tweak the macros, and maybe that's all you want to do. Like you just want to find your sound, feel inspired. This is like the purpose of the play page. You go into the advanced page and you can really like deep dive into you know, the engine. But if you don't want to, it's totally cool, and this is why we made this page for you. For the features, I wanted to talk about the morph. So I covered this a lot on the previous live stream, but it's kind of where the concept of the whole product came from. You know, you want to augment a sound. So we were kind of thinking we have like our traditional sound over here, and then we want to morph and blend and like change loads of parameters and like reach this whole new like sound palette on the right. So this is kind of where the concept came from, and kind of, yeah, it's like the USP of the product. So I chose this preset as like a sort of demonstration of the power of the morph, and yeah, I think it demonstrates the sort of purpose of it really well. So we have like a nice female vocal saying all the vowels, A, I, O, U, E. And then start morphing into this sort of like rhythmical pattern. Yeah, really nice preset. But that kind of demonstrates this feature and how you can, you know, you have like your one preset, your one sound, but within that one preset, you have two sounds and you can morph between them. So just to show you a sort of more straight up sound, because I also wanted it to be beneficial for, I don't know, just sort of like straight up, almost like a sample library, because you'd have expression with samples, so just going from like a plain sound to a sort of vibrato-y sound. So this is why I chose this one called Quiet Ms. So male Ms. going into vibrato, so you can kind of play it as if they were really singing it. And then to show you, so we have this like more feature, so like a really powerful dial in the middle, really change the sound. But around that we have the macros. So I'm saying you have your one sound, you have two sounds, and then within the macros you can go and find even more different sounds, like almost like 3-4 different flavors within the one preset. So it's really powerful. So I chose this preset just to kind of show you what they kind of do. So color, we have morph, kind of going through. Kind of sounder. Then we have color, so it's kind of usually it controls the filter or some engine textures. Quickly filter it. We have time, so we go from short envelopes, short releases, and we can increase that. Have like a more like elaborate time. Motion, usually it's like a vibrato or a tremolo, but it can control a lot of like modulation or the arp speed. And then per side, per sound, they have their own like specific effects just for that one layer. So if I move morph all the way to layer A, turn up the effects. This can be subtle, it can be extreme, but this one's like stereo pan. And then for B, we've added like a phaser. But now we can change the sound quite a bit. Then the final audio path all gets sent to a delay and a reverb. So these can be digital delay or pitch shift delay or several other delays and a convolution reverb or a digital reverb. So now let's go explore the engine. I'm going to use a default preset. It's a bit risky, but hopefully we find some nice sounds in there. So I wanted to show you what you get inside the engine. So you have your two layers, and then each layer has two parts. So these can be two samples, or I can just drag and drop, and now I've got a synth and a sample on one side, or I can two synths, two samples, and you get the picture. So to show you what we have inside the sampler, we have, I don't know, about 50 or 60 male and female articulations, female R. Let me just put them off so you can hear it. You can have Lars, Lars staccato, ms. A whole bunch of every vowel sound, and with vibrato as well. And then the males. So I like the ms, so I'm going to keep those, but we can also have, maybe we'll go on the other one, and we can choose process voices. Sounds nice. And we also have additional samples in there as well. So I quite liked that rusty R. So I'm going to put a longer attack. So just even with, on one side, one sound, it sounds really good, I think, in my opinion. And that gets all sent into a filter. with several filter types. So let's quickly move morph. Now let's do some synth stuff. So we have a virtual analog engine, we have a granular engine, we have a harmonic engine, and we have a wavetable engine. And we have several, about 40, 50 presets per engine. So you can just go in, just flick through until you find one we like. So let's do exactly that. This one sounds cool. Let's do the same here. Let's do just maybe an wavetable. And now we have like a really nice strange mix, and you know, this is like the fun of the product. You could just keep going in, flicking through your engines, flicking through your presets, finding the sounds you want to have and start creating, you know. It's really fun and really, we've like chosen like the most significant parameters from the engines, so you know, you can tweak any of these. Density or the size of the grain or FM, and you know, you can start like going even deeper and not just flicking through presets if you wanted to. So before we move on, I just wanted to show you the mod strip. You know, you can quickly like assign like an LFO to the cutoff, for example. You can assign some color. Color controls the filter or the engines. So it's really low, but we can open up the filter here. Time controls the envelopes, and morph can control anything on this page. So moving on to the modulations, with this you have 2 LFOs, 2 functions, 2 randoms, and velocity, aftertouch, mod wheel, and keyboard. And again, these can be assigned to any parameter you like. Arpeggiator, my attack's not very quick, so maybe we'll choose this. Just a simple arp. You can have chords, you can skip steps, you can change the velocity. We have random, so every time it has like a random velocity. Gate's like the length of the step, so it can be long, short, and then just like pattern, time, octaves. And then just effects, 2 layer effects, 2 effects per layer. So you have a choice of 16 effects there. Main effects, so it all goes through a delay and a reverb, as I said at the beginning. And then you have a macros overview. Now I could probably spend an hour going through all of this, but we have to get through quite a lot. So, you know, I'd recommend watching the walkthrough that we put out when the product came out. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. And we have like a really in-depth walkthrough sort of tutorial on this product. And I'd highly recommend you watch that if you're interested in this. But I think that's enough to sort of give you an impression of the product and do some more investigation or ask me some questions at the end. So now I'm going to move on to Augmented Strings. So this is the other product in the series and was like the first product that came out in April. I did like an hour live stream on this product, like the intro about the advance in April, as I said. So I just kind of want to hint at it and show you the articulations and maybe play some presets. But as we have to cover the profits, I feel like the voices was a good overview of the product. And yeah, I'm just going to play some presets and show you the articulations. try and play some different chords. So this is just a good exercise in showing the morph for this preset. Very nice. This one's called Harp Mutation. Just to sort of show you how we can go from these really luscious sounds to these plucky, harpy sounds. I love this one. It's full of strings. All you have to do is just play one chord. Very cool. And yeah, I wanted to show off just kind of the different sounds. So this is a double bass. So just to quickly go into the advanced, I just wanted to show the articulations really. Let me go to a default preset, and I'll just put the morph over here just so you can hear the different sounds basically. So we have ensemble strings. These are, I don't know, we have about 20 articulations in there. I really like these. All the random stuff's very nice. It's random swells, soft sustains. Very soothing and calm. And then we have individual string instruments. So violins, violas, cellos, bass. I'll just play a few. I don't know, I'll just choose somewhere random. Double bass, viola and violin. We also have some process solo strings. Process ensemble strings. And some additional samples. And I can't remember if I said it or not, so I'll just say it now again, just in case. So like each synth engine has its presets. but all of them are specific to that product. So you wouldn't find the same synth engine in the strings as you would for voices. We had the sound designers to like specifically make the engines to complement the instrument that we're trying to emulate, trying to like augment. I just wanted to cover that. And as you can see, these products share the same ecosystem. So they're feature the same, feature alike. Okay, cool. I would love to just talk about this forever, but I'm going to move on and I'm going to talk about the Prophets. So, Prophet-5, the beast. A quick story, you know, I think it was maybe like 5-6 years ago. I remember I was on tour with my brother's band, and yeah, the keyboardist was like, oh yeah, check out this company called Arpeggiator. They make all these vintage synths, and it was like at the time where I was starting to get into it, and the Prophet-5, you know, the famous ones, Prophet-5 or the Moogs, or I was like, I don't know, becoming a bit of a synth nerd. And he showed me the software, and I was like, oh my God, it sounds amazing, looks amazing. And it was like the first sort of entry point into the Arpeggiator world. And I don't know, I find it quite funny that it's gone full circle, and I am now made the product that got me into Arpeggiator. So yeah, very cool. Just some history on the Prophet-5. It came out in the late 70s. There was a few synths beforehand that could save presets, but this one is, I think, the most famous for it. So you could actually save a sound. You could actually take this instrument on the stage and play it, and it was almost like the first time you could ever do that, and really open the game to the synthesized world. And this synth changed, you know, the whole landscape for synthesizers. It's really warm. It's like your typical warm imperfection synthesizer. It kind of fits perfectly in any mix. It's simple if you don't know synthesis that well. It's the layout, I think everyone would agree, is very simple to understand. And yeah, it's just one of those iconic synths to look at, to play, to hear. It's, yeah, one of my favorites, and I'm really proud to have worked on it. One thing I'm going to say before we start exploring the Prophet-5, I guess is to say the Prophet-V. So this is an update. If you knew our products before, we had a Prophet-V, so it actually combined the Prophet-5 and the Prophet-VS in this one product. And there were some cool little tricks, as you could like run each one into each other's filters and stuff. But we decided these are so amazing, these products are so great, these instruments are so great, we should split them up, and they should just have their dedicated time and effort to like recreate it as well as we could. Talking about recreations, you know, we say updates or rebuilds. These are like brand new products from the ground up, as if, you know, the core game is 20. It's exactly the same with the Prophet-5. We haven't reused anything. It's all brand new. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing to see the passion and the effort to go into these updates, you know. And I think it sounds great for it. One last thing before I play, actually, just to say that we decided to do the revision 2. So there's 4 revisions. One came out a few years ago, but this came out in the revision 1 came out in the late 70s up until revision 3, which is like mid 80s or early 80s. Revision 2 is said to be the best sounding because of the filter chip, the SSM 2040, because it's like really unstable. When we moved this around, every time we moved it around, it needs to be recalibrated because it's so unstable, but that's what gives you the big fat sound from it. So, okay, that's enough of me giving you some history and waffling on. I'm going to play some sounds, and then I'm going to take you through the main panel and the advanced panel, and then we'll talk about the Prophet-VS. Cool. I thought I had to play this if I was going to do the Prophet-5. So here we go. Yeah, all right. I was just about to start singing, but I don't think you want to hear that. I'll just play a few more sounds. Cool. That was fun. As you can see, it just sounds so big and warm and luscious. All right, again, I'm going to be a bit risky, but going to go default preset. Let's start, I don't know, just showing you some sort of key features or some of my favorite features of the Prophet-5. What makes it special, what makes it fun. So I'm just going to add some release to give it a bit of breathing room. Cool. So one thing that's really interesting is the Polymod. It allows you to do like audio rate modulation. So oscillator 2, this oscillator to modulate oscillator 1, the frequency and the pulse width. And it also allows for this envelope to modulate the frequency, the pulse width, or the filter cutoff. And oscillator 2 can also do the filter cutoff. So it will sound a bit crazy until we find the sweet spot, but let's... Sounds really nice. Also, oscillator 2 can be an LFO. If you put in LFO mode, so then you can turn it into a bit of a vibrato. Ooh, that doesn't sound nice. Ah, I see why. Okay, I'm going to stop there because it's not sounding great. And sound design, live sound design, never a good idea. But yeah, it's really interesting. You can like have loads of fun with just this oscillator, the polymod, the filter envelope, and the oscillator. Really simple stuff, really like basic sort of synthesis, but again, you can make some crazy sounds just with that. We have another LFO, so you can have like 2 LFOs. One thing I wanted to show was the filter. Maybe we could do like a nice filter sweep. Let me find, just to get a normal tone. Nice. Hopefully this goes well. Very nice stuff. Yeah, really beautiful filter here. Turn that back down. There's a thing, so we've added the dispersion. So you might have seen this from the V Collection 8 instruments. Really interesting. I'll probably choose a preset to show you this a bit better. Maybe this. So we have dispersion. So like each voice has its own sort of behavior. So one might be slightly differently pitched. The cutoff might be different. And this kind of what gives an analog synth its character and its like imperfections. So we have the 3 presets, so it's like really well calibrated. 3 is like pretty poorly calibrated. So hopefully when I play it to you, you can like hear it. So that's like really well calibrated. You can see it completely changes the sound because I guess the envelope times and the polymod are working like differently per voice, and it gives you all these like interesting behaviors, unexpected behaviors. So that's very nice. Also, instead of the presets, we decided to put an arpeggiator in there, which is always fun. So let's just, and a chord mode. So let's do my classic. And here we can do repeats and gates. Again, I could talk about this for ages, but I'm going to move on and show you the advanced page. Just to say, the previous Prophet-5, these had 2 effects, and now we've added these 2 modulators, so like another LFO, you know, have all the classic shapes, and you can choose any destination you want on the synthesizer, and just choose like an amount. We have a multi-segment generator envelope function. So, you know, you can create all sorts of crazy rhythmical patterns and do strange things. Just an example. We've added velocity, aftertouch, mod wheel, keyboard tracking. So yeah, really interesting if you put, I don't know, velocity onto the volume, like the mixer, the oscillators, or the cutoff, or onto Polymod, and as you play harder, different things would happen. And then we've added our effects chain. So you have 16 really nice digital effects and also like analog emulation effects. So before I move on, because I got to hit the Prophet VS, and then I'll have your questions, I thought it would be a good opportunity to just sort of give you some insight into, I don't know how much people really, everyone in this company, like they care so much about the quality and how good the emulation is of these products. It's crazy, like the amount of like listening sessions, having the real unit going like directly into the oscillator, listening to our oscillator, making sure they're like, oh, they're slightly off, so we like tweak it and spend months like tweaking it and fine tuning it to the point where we have the Rev 2 here, the Rev 2 on the computer. You play a preset, you literally close your eyes, you can't tell. You play a filter sweep, close your eyes, you can't tell, and it's incredible. It's a lot of hard work, but I just wanted to, I don't know, because beforehand I didn't really know how much effort and passion, I guess you wouldn't know unless you know from the inside, but I kind of just want to like express that to you. It's incredible, it really is. There's a lot of love for these old, beautiful instruments. Okay, and finally, before we go into questions, I want to show you the Prophet VS. Let me just go back to the first preset. Okay, so I think this is probably my favorite synth on the V Collection 9 that's come out, just because I knew about it, but I didn't really know about it. And it's super interesting. I work in the UK half the time, so I had a unit in my office, really got to know the synth. On the real synth, it's actually a bit of a nightmare because the interface is rubbish. You have to like, one data point. So like to bring it into the software world, it's been so nice to like make it so much more user-friendly, so much more understandable, because it's really deep instrument, and you can do all sorts of interesting things. So it's a digital vector synthesizer, and where this came from was you'd have your 4 single waveforms, and yeah, the vector would be this basically like this joystick. So you would move between the waveforms, creating these like vectors. And then I will go into the feature set, but then you could have this envelope that would do that movement for you. And yes, the Prophet. So like in the mid-80s, Dave Smith and Sequential decided, I think the whole world was kind of going digital then. And this is like their sort of idea of a new type of instrument, new type of synthesis. Yeah, I've had a lot of fun working on this one. Okay, so yeah, let's dive in. I'm going to play you some presets first so you can kind of like get an ear for it, and then I'll take you a walk through, and then we'll do some questions. So this, yeah, I really like this first. Hopefully I can play it well. It's a bit harder to play, but I think it just sounds so cool. Very fun. Serious digital bass. Wow. I've always loved this preset. This was in the Prophet-5, Prophet-V, sorry, original. And then this is a good bridge to like what I want to talk about, which is the basically what just this section here, the mixer, the joystick. It just creates these amazing like evolving timbres quite easily, and yeah, just really interesting. Yeah. So, yeah, let's talk about it. I think it'd be much easier if I show you rather than just play. So we have a bit closer. So we can choose 4 waveforms for the 4 vectors, 4 triangles. So I don't know, let's just sort of maybe choose some at random, some granular. Let's have a couple of birds in there and a pluck. Okay. And then you can just, as I play a note, we'll start like moving the joystick. Let me just put the cut off down a bit. You can hear it. Already that is pretty interesting, I think, when you start doing some actual sound design. So basically the mixer envelope just does what your hand would do. So you can play and the mixer envelope could do the mixing for you. So this envelope group is actually a simplified version. If we click here, we jump to the advanced version. But I wanted it just to be quick and easy. You can change the pattern, you can, I don't know, do what you want to do. And then we also have this rate multiplier. So instead of going in and changing like each spacing, we can just make the whole thing faster or slower. So faster. Or slower. Maybe too slow. If you can see the thing creeping up. So you can quickly go and adjust that without doing much. I don't know, without really knowing what you're doing, which is fun. That's kind of the fun of it. So I'd like to take you into the advanced section. This is the mixer envelope with a lot more detail. You can loop points. So maybe I want to loop the movement between these two. Let's put that back up. Make it a bit more dramatic. So I can do it infinitely. I can do it like once. It goes off. I can change the direction. And then one thing that I really love, because this is kind of based on the original, is very close feature set, but here we can sync it, which I think is so cool. So you know, with the music, you can sync it up to your. I'm probably not going to be able to do it justice here, but if you really went into it, sync it up to like the drum beat or the bass line or the tempo, and it like you could change timbre like with the beat. Very cool. I'll turn the loop off. One thing also, just to finish off the sort of mixer envelope, because I feel like this is like the most important thing about the product, about the instrument. It's like, it was what makes it unique, and it gives you that really like interesting flavor and tone. One thing I wanted to show was how the joystick like offsets the shape when you play a note. So if the mixer envelope's off, the joystick works like a joystick. If the mixer envelope is on, then it would follow this line, but if I move the joystick, it would like offset that shape, and it would do it over here within the confines. So maybe you see this little blue dot with it, so it's following it now, but it's obviously moving quite fast, but so it starts doing the pattern. I'm just sort of freestyling, so I'm not showing it to its best, but that's kind of what's happening, which is really cool. Also, let's just make a really simple shape. Let's just do a line. I also wanted to show you this because like a lot of things can modulate this joystick, not just the envelope. So, you know, if we put an LFO, let's put LFO1 onto the mix. Put that up. Now, turn the amplitude up. Turn this down. Very cool. So you can really understand it's not just the shape, it's all sorts of things, like the velocity aftertouch can modulate this this blend of the sound. So with this little button, you can hide it if you want, if it's confusing, but if you really want to know what's going down, yeah, really nice. So we have filter and amp envelope, pretty standard, but I just wanted to show you that we have the Prophet-5 original filter, which is like a 5-stage filter, and this has looping and stuff in it, which is really cool. We have an MSEG, so you know the thing I showed you with the Prophet-5, you can do all sorts of crazy weird patterns. And then we also just have like a classic DA. So like a ADSR, but with a delay stage if you want it. Just as we're in the advanced section, I'll show you that, and then I'll show you a few more things on the front page. We have a modulation tab, so we have 3 more functions that we can do. We can route it to anything. The original had a mod matrix, but it's all hardwired, but this is free to do anything, so I have 8 sources, so any of these sources can affect any parameter on the synth. So free reign to like have your creativity to go anywhere and do your thing. And finally, on the advanced, we have our light effects section. Really nice. I think we've really improved them, and they're sounding really good. So what else did I want to show you on here? Oh yeah, let's just make some more interesting sounds. Okay, so one thing I wanted to show you was the pan trimmers. So each voice can be like trimmed to different areas. So you can have like a really spatial thing. So I'll just quickly show you what that can sound like with the Arpeggiator. We've added up an Arpeggiator where the preset buttons are on the original, and it's the same Arpeggiator as Prophet-5. So hopefully, if you're wearing headphones, you should be able to hear it go like bum 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 bum. So down the middle. Really nice effect. We've also added the dispersion on the analog parts. So this is a hybrid instrument, so it's not just digital the filter, the VCA, and this chorus are analog. So there's sort of like, we haven't done it to the chorus, but the cutoff, resonant, pan, and amplitude, the VCA. So again, it adds like some sort of character and some weird behaviors that you'd only find on these old instruments. Final thing, then we'll have questions, and I hope you've really enjoyed this presentation. I know it was a lot to go through, but I think we did well. It's the random button. It's so cool. It's on the original. We had to put it into our product, and yeah, basically just randomizes your patch. Randomize your waveforms, the oscillator tuning, the filter, cutoff, resonant, envelope mode, all the envelopes, the LFOs, the pans, chorus. So you can know. So I'm just changing the waveforms. Maybe we'll choose a different one to make it go even more extreme. Yeah, let's go. Really interesting. Ooh, that was a bit harsh. Let's put that down. Ooh. Yeah, it can go a bit extreme, but also it can give you some really interesting creative tool, and just really fun. Let's change everything and see what we get. And then I have questions. Here we go. Woohoo. Great. Yeah, I could talk about each one for an hour. So I'm going to go on to questions now. And hopefully I've given you a nice insight and told you some things about these products and instruments. Yeah, questions? Questions. Let's do this. Where is it? Nope. Sorry about this. Firefox. Okay. So the first question, is there a chance to have GUI animations like Augmented Strings intro? So we worked on this animation thing. Yeah, we worked on it for quite a few months. And we were getting good results. But eventually it used a lot of, if you didn't have a graphics card, it used your CPU. And we decided that it was, I don't know, too much of a demand on a computer to have these graphics at the moment. So we're working on making them more efficient, and maybe as time when computers get a bit better, maybe they'll both align. But yeah, we did animations for voices, and they looked really good. But on some computers, on some older computers, like 2014 Macs, for example, it was causing more trouble than, it was almost, yeah, at that point it was like style over substance, because it wouldn't, if you can't play the music, then what's the point? But no, it's really, I really liked it, and it was a really good challenge, and I want to bring that into the product in the future. So there is a chance for sure. Is CEST import working now on the Prophet models? So Prophet-5, it was a weird, it like read off some weird, I can't remember exactly, like cassettes or something. It didn't have MIDI on the Rev 2. So there's no CEST import on revision on the Prophet-5, but the Prophet VS has full CEST import. So yeah, they're like compatible with each other, which is really cool. So yeah, and like for the Prophet VS, all the factory, the vintage factory is CEST. Like there's 100 presets there, and the Prophet-5 we had to remake the presets with our sound design team. I assume the pattern can be adjusted to a certain BPM or the clock. In the Arpeggiator, yep. I assume it's Arpeggiator. yeah, I think pretty much every time parameter in all our products, pretty much. But yeah, it's specifically on our arpeggiators. You can do it hertz, so just like free time, and then you can sync it to tempo, or you can do triplet sync or dotted sync. So yeah, it's really fun. Obviously, if you could just like put that on a track with Arpeggiator with the beat, sounds great. Do you feel like having a numerical indicator would be helpful, like a percent for each knob? I would say there is. Every parameter we have has a little tooltip. So maybe it's not percentage, but like, for example, here, if you're on the screen, like the morph knob goes from like 0 to 1. So you can understand that's like 0 to 100%. We always make sure to try and make them as like user-friendly as possible. So each parameter should give you what it's reading out. Is there a mixer at the engine level? I know there's a volume for layer A and layer B, but I haven't found how to mix the volume inside the 2 engines per layer. Good question. Yeah, there is. So each part has its own volume, and by default, the morph is controlling those 2-part levels. So when I'm on layer A, parts A1 and 2 are full, and when I'm on layer B, parts B1 and 2 are on full. So I don't know if you can quickly show my screen again. Yeah, so on the advanced page, there's a volume per engine. So here is the parts. Down here, so it's either like a number box or a dial. And yeah, you can do different things with morph. So like instead of blending, you could have like layer A could always be loud, and you just bring in layer B, for example. Any chance of Arpeggiator making current future classic synths, like the Udo Super 6? I don't know. I don't think we would go that new. I feel like that would be stepping on their toes a little bit. I think I would like to do more modern synths, but I think there's a kind of, I don't know. I don't think we would go any newer than like 20 years, I would say. But it's up for discussion. But this kind of thing is like we would have to work with Udo, I think, to make a product with them, because it's their product still and like commercially available. But it's interesting. There is some really amazing future classics or not that old synths that would be great as a sort of software emulation. We're actually going to send out a survey soon on the V Collection 9 and the future V Collection, and we're going to have a big list of emulations that you would like to see next. So hopefully you get to see the survey, and you can either click on the ones we suggested or suggest your own, and we'll obviously take that information in and try and make the best decision of what you guys really want. You know, that's our job. Augmented V, can you help map in FL Studio 20? I'm not really that familiar with Fruity Loops. I'm sure there is a way to map it. Maybe there's some confusion. I would say contact our support service. They're really friendly and want to help musicians make their lives better. So yeah, I'd recommend asking them, because unfortunately I can't really answer that question. I don't know Fruity Loops that well. Prophet-5, I forget. Did you update the synthesis since it was an old merged plugin? Yeah, actually. So yeah, I talked about this a lot with the Prophet-5, but the same with the Prophet-5. It was a completely new instrument. We really crafted the digital oscillator. It was amazing to see it happen, but really went a lot deeper into emulating the digital oscillator and the mixing of the oscillators, as I showed you. Everything's new. The chorus is new. It's like a BBD chorus, brand new. The filter completely remodeled. The whole. We took inspiration from the old products, but we took nothing, no code base, and it was like, as I said, it's a brand new instrument. It's like an MS-20. It's like an Augmented Series. It's that kind of level of starting again from fresh. Any suggestions for reliable performance options for the joystick while playing? It's a cool idea, but uncommon input tool. Yeah, sure. I guess it can be mapped, I think, to an XY pad if you have one, which could be fun while you're playing. A reliable performance tool would be, I think, using the mixer envelope and using that sync option, so you can create your pattern, I don't know, going from a simple like square wave to a saw wave. I can't think of anything better. On sync mode to the DAW tempo, so then it's like changing either like every bar or every 4 bars, or I think that's like a reliable way of like performing. And if you're like, but maybe that's making music. Performing XY pad, I guess, is the best if you're not playing to a tempo. Is the vector control in the Prophet-5 assignable to an external USB source? I'm not sure if I totally understand. Maybe it's similar to the other question. You should be able to MIDI map the VS vector, like the joystick. So external USB source, I'm not sure I fully understand. Sorry. Any plans to add classic drum machines to the collection? I just said about the survey, and I think one of the questions will be that. We'll be asking, is that something you want from us? It's something that I think is missing from the collection. I think it's something that could be very cool. So yeah, it's been in our heads for a long time, It's just how we do it and when we do it and if we do it is the questions that we're trying to define. But if enough people say we want drum machines, we will listen to you, because I think we would all want some an emulation of a TR-909 or something like that. So plans, not yet, but it's definitely in our heads. Will there be this random function for other synths in the collection? I don't know. It's a pretty cool idea. It's from the original, and that's why I pushed it a lot to be in this product. Yeah, it's something we can talk about. I think it's really cool, and it adds a lot of creativity. And if you have a sort of moment of, oh, I don't know what to do, or I'm bored of this, like, it can really inspire you. I will talk to my other product managers and say that it's been requested, and we can talk about it. Which instruments have the dispersion function? So I think it was before my time, but I believe it was developed for V Collection 8. So I'd say the Jupiter 8, the Juno, the OPXA. What other synths came out that year? I can't remember off the top of my head. And then all the new ones. So the Korg MS-20 has it, SQ80, Prophet-5, Prophet-VS, CS80. Any other synths? But yeah, basically like the last like 8 synthesizer emulations that have come from us have this dispersion. And it really is a game changer. It really ups the character of these software instruments to become like real like analog instruments or digital analog. Can you tell me why I should upgrade? Seriously, sell me on this. Well, I mean, I think this is the strongest collection we've done, to be honest. The Augmented series brings a whole new like sound palette to your instruments, and I think this like new take on samples morphing into the synths is really cool, and I really like it. I think the upgrades. So I know. So if you had I guess you've got a V collection. Prophet-5 the old one, Prophet-V, and the CS80, the new ones just sound incredible. So I think that's totally worth it. We put loads of effort and our like latest technology, the cutting edge technology into these products, and they sound exactly like the real thing. In my opinion, I've been at the sessions, the listening sessions, listening to the A/B comparison, and I can't tell the difference, and everyone in the room can't tell the difference. So they're really, yeah, upped our game. And the Core Gamers 20 filter sounds incredible. And the SQ80 is really fun. For the Prophet-VS, maybe just for the Prophet-VS. I'm not going to sell you anymore. I mean, everyone's sort of living a tough life at the moment, and I understand that money can be an issue, but I think it's a strong upgrade, and if you can afford it, I think do it. So I think that's it for the questions. I just want to say thanks so much for tuning in and for listening to me play and listening to me waffle on about these instruments and products. I hope you learned something, and next week the last live stream will happen with Edward, and he's the product manager of the Korg MS-20, CS80, and he did the SQ80 as well. So he's been here a long time, and he knows the company and these products inside out. So he'll teach you some things as well. So thanks so much, and I'm sure we'll see each other soon. Thanks. I'm going to play some exit music. Just give me 2 seconds. Not that. I want to play this.